Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. Right, we are going to a brewery now that I've not had anything for a long time. And they're from Wales. And it's Tiny Rebel. Now, poor old Tiny Rebel. I say poor old Tiny Rebel. They do get a little bit of stick because they seem to be heading the Brewdog direction. But they released 4 beers recently. The Return to Ale series, as they call it. And they're going back to sort of traditional style beers in this set of 4 beers, if you like. And in this review, we are taking a look at their Golden Ale. There we are. It's in a 440ml can, if I'm correct, yes. And it's coming in at 4.6%. So it's kind of still got that sort of wacky Tiny Rebel sort of branding, but with sort of old school kind of look, if that makes any sense. Just the Golden Ale thing on the front, I suppose, is about the only thing that's sort of old school. Yeah, when I saw these come out, I thought I've got to try them. 4 beers were at £11.20. So I think that's coming in at about £2.82 and a half pence or something like that. I don't know. On the back, it's saying malts are Chevalier and Biscuit malt. Hops are Cascade and Fuggles. And the yeast is the Tiny Rebel house yeast. So there we go, there's the can. And at the same time of ordering these beers, I ordered a pint glass. That was £4. So, it's been in the fridge, it's been at the back of the fridge, so it is very cold. Quite possibly too cold, really. But I'm going to roll with it anyway because I'm trying to mix these reviews up a bit. And there's a lot of beers that really need to be out of the fridge for a while. And old Bazza is not very well prepared, unfortunately. Because I get home from work and I just want a beer. That's how bad it is. It's a bad state of affairs, that is, isn't it? Anyway, will I get it all in there? Yes, I'll get it all in there. So all the cans in there. Golden Ales. What do I think of Golden Ales? I do like some. Some I find a bit boring. Some I think are really good. Some I do appreciate the style, but I do find some a bit boring. But we'll see what we get with this one. So, beer in a glass. Yeah, it's looking golden. It's looking almost marmalade-like, if you like. Lots of carbonation coming up from the bottom of the glass, but it is nucleated. We got a bit of a mix and match bubble kind of white head on top. But it looks decent, doesn't it? It looks decent, and that head staying there don't seem to be going anywhere. So let's give it a swirl. Try not to spill any as well at the same time. And see what we get on the nose. Yeah, it smells like a golden ale. Definitely a fruity note in there. Malty. On the nose, to be honest, it's you get the malt in there, but it's definitely seems a bit more fruity, a bit more punchy than maybe some golden ales you'd pick up in your general supermarket, sort of standard sort of stuff that you'd pick up, you know. Anyway, let's stop sniffing. Let's go in on Tiny Rebel's Golden Ale, 4.6%. Cheers. Okay. I wonder if it's their house yeast, because it has a distinctive sort of Tiny Rebel flavour to it. Now, the fact that it's saying Tiny Rebel house yeast would make me think, because you are sort of getting the biscuit malts, you are getting the Cascade and Fuggles, but it does still feel like a typical sort of Tiny Rebel beer. Now, whether that's a bad thing or not, or whether it's just too cold, or I don't know, but body 4.6%. It's not a bad body. but I can't help but feel there's some golden ales in the supermarket. They're more sort of bigger on malts, I would say, and that comes across in the body. For me, although the body on this is good, it sort of doesn't feel heavy enough in malts, if you like, but the body is good. The carbonation is nice. It is quite busy, but not overly busy, and it's lots of small bubbles, so it doesn't really, it's not a fill you up with gas kind of carbonation in this beer. It's pretty smooth in the mouth. On the taste, for me now, I'm hit with the sort of fruity notes, maybe even floral notes, probably more floral than fruity, but there is a fruitiness in there. The hoppiness, and the malts are sort of coming more to the back, although you still get that malty taste. The hop sort of flavours take over a little bit more, and the maltiness is more right on the back end. There is a nice sort of, it says like biscuit malt, and you do get a little biscuity feel in there the more you drink. 4.6%. That drinks well, I think. I think you can drink this and go, yeah, that's a 4.6% beer. It has a feel of something, you know, golden ales are anywhere from, I suppose, sort of like 3.8 up to about 4.6, 4.7 maybe. But that feels sort of bang on the way it's drinking. It is pretty pleasant. There's no wateriness in there. Excuse me. I would say at the start, you sort of think there might be a little bit, when you have that first sort of mouthful, you think maybe this is going to wear off and be a bit watery as you get down it. If anything, I think it does get slightly better. Little bit of a citrus note in there, I think. I think it is, yeah, there's definitely a fruity note, and it's definitely a little bit of a citrus sort of note. There's no bitterness in there. It's not an overly sweet beer. Well, there's no real sweetness in there. I think the sweetness is kind of subtle. You maybe get a little bit of a bit of tang on the start, but other than that, no real bitterness, no real sweetness. You get the hops, you get a bit of maltiness. Is it any good? It's quite hard really, because a golden ale isn't my favourite style. It's not the most exciting beer, although there are some really good ones out there. For me, this one, it certainly beats 90% of the golden ales that you get in the supermarket, but I also think there are better ones out there. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing nasty in there. It's just a solid old school style of beer. So Tiny Rebels Golden Ale, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, because, you know, there is nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't blow your mind. I was maybe expecting a little bit more than I got, but, you know, it's a decent drop. So yeah, if you get a chance to try it and you like your old school beers, give it a go. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon, all of you, on another beer review. Cheers.